Now listen, I don't have much time and neither do you, so here it goes. To the mainstream community of physicists around the world. For more than a century now you have been wandering in the wilderness, with the rest of the world following you blindly but in good faith, as it should. You have been ruling with the power and the attitude of an absolute king for all this time, and you have not had to face any serious challenge to your throne. But that situation is about to change. I am here to force you to take a stand and to try to defend publicly your theories concerned with the evolution of the universe and with the nature of the quantum world. For I have strong evidence to show that your current teachings are no longer relevant or needed. You have made too many crucial mistakes you have never been willing to see, let alone to rectify, and therefore you cannot be allowed to continue to lead humanity's quest for knowledge in the wrong direction. You have elevated your beloved theories to a status of absolutism only seen in religious doctrines, and you have chosen to teach and preach exclusively from the Gospels of those you openly idolize. Sadly, in the process you have managed to drastically constrict the imagination of the youngest and brightest of your own brood, declining them any prospect of contributing to the advance of humanity's knowledge of the truth. Be prepared, however, to soon see the same people rise against you and demand accountability. Indeed, that time is nigh. Indeed, the time has come, my dear conventional physicist, to prove your worthiness by trying to keep alive the ailing theoretical models that you've been patching up for a century now. Come on, is it really that hard to see that you have been living on borrowed time for too long? For how much longer do you believe your mathematical fairy tales will be able to explain the ever-growing amount of observational facts and recorded data the world acquires every day? Are you so blind that you have failed to see for all this time that you've done little besides inventing epicycles? You are now blissfully unaware of what awaits you, and I have reasons to believe that you are also arrogant enough to smile condescendingly while you are hearing this. Prepare to eat a lot of humble pie, however, for soon you'll have nowhere to hide, and you'll have no means of defending the ugly, the pretentious, the artificial, the incomprehensible and incoherent theories of how you think the universe must work. The time is ripe to show you where you went wrong, and you won't be able to say much, for you will see it too. I'll show you how little understanding you have had of those things that form the foundations of our hitherto search for knowledge, and you will see that also. I will show you experiments you have either neglected or misunderstood, experiments costing not much more than a modest dinner, experiments that will reveal, nevertheless, more about the nature of the universe than everything you have claimed to have learned, for example, from those monstrous contraptions you call colliders and accelerators. Indeed, great will be the burden many of you will have to carry on their shoulders when it will become clear that the only useful legacy your monstrous machines shall leave for posterity will be in serving as a hard example of how catastrophically even educated minds can be corrupted by a lack of understanding of what a fine line there is between a prophet and a buffoon. I will begin my revolution by showing you how little you know about light. Indeed, it was your poor understanding of the nature of light that has led you into concocting your bombastic cosmological model, as well as into your gibberish depiction of the quantum world. To see how flawed your understanding of light is, I will perform an old and well-known experiment conducted more than 300 years ago by Newton, and then I'll show you how much you have missed out on by failing to realize that there have always been good reasons to question Newton's interpretation of the results of that experiment. I will also give you a clue to help you to see where you went wrong, and I believe some of you will see indeed. Then I will challenge you to either defend your conventional theory of light or to acknowledge publicly that there is a need for a new one. Finally, after waiting a reasonable amount of time for your reply, I will present my own understanding of the nature of light for a thorough scrutiny, and that will conclude my first line of attack in my revolution against you, the first chapter. There is just one more thing I will say here. Being very well acquainted with your methods in dealing with those who dare to doubt your teachings, on the day I will publish the video of the experiment, I will also enter on a hunger strike, which shall continue until I will receive a definite answer from you. How everything will evolve from this point on is entirely up to you. The world will be watching the unfolding of the events, and every move from now on will become a story in itself. For those of today then, and for those of tomorrow, are you willing to do the right thing? Then defend yourself or ask for help. The only thing you are not allowed to do is to remain silent. If you are right, it will be a trifle to prove it. If you are wrong, however, I believe that I have enough evidence to convince the genuine seekers for knowledge to join me in a worldwide intellectual revolution against your reign. Time will tell.